Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So today, let's talk about what's making the markets red. Of course, there are many factors at play, but regardless, you don't want to miss the opportunity to buy Bitcoin or more Bitcoin or stack sats. And I'm going to explain why you don't want to miss this opportunity. All right. Let's do it, guys. Welcome. We're starting out today a little bit lower than yesterday, about 105.6. Although some of the alts are still holding quite nicely. Like, for example, ETH is still in the green. But we did come down a little bit from yesterday. And that's because the U.S. market is down a little bit. And that's because of this. Obviously, things are still escalating in the Middle East, and people are getting a little bit worried about what this may lead to, right? So obviously, this is something that I've mentioned that will continue to be affecting markets for quite some time, kind of just like the Ukraine and Russia conflict, the war. You know, when it first started, markets were really, really rocky. And then, you know, kind of Wall Street got accepted to the fact that this may be a long war. And then, you know, things recovered, right? So it could be something like that as long as this doesn't escalate. And I'm hearing from a lot of countries that are starting to talk. So I don't know where this is going to go. But this is why the markets are a little bit red today. Just worried about what may happen. And of course, things like oil is going up. Whenever there is a conflict or war, oil always goes up, and this does affect things, especially prices of goods, prices of services, price to transport things. Yeah, that all plays into it. And today, we got retail sales numbers that came out that shows that consumers are buying less than expected. Okay, last month. Of course, that makes a whole lot of sense. People are worried. Okay, people are worried about the outcome. People are worried about tariffs. People are worried about war. People are worried about a lot of stuff. So when people are worried, of course, they're going to spend less. Right, so this also put a dampen the mood a little bit today because of this. But not to worry, though. Not to worry, because Trump phones are coming. I'm just joking. I did talk about this yesterday. The controversy, well, there's a few things that makes this really controversial. Number one, the timing, the announcement of this, headed by Eric Trump. And the second is all this talk about, you know, made in America or bring manufacturing back to the U.S. and all this stuff. Turns out the phone will be made in China. I saw an interview where Eric Trump says, well, you know, it's an American company. Hopefully we can bring manufacturing back. You know, again, why now? You know, it could wait. Wait until they could do this in the U.S. or wait until all this is over before doing this. Or just not do it at all. Why do we need a Trump phone or Trump mobile? I just don't get it. I really don't get it. And right now the timing could not be worse for this. Could not be worse. All right, just want to highlight that real quick. But outside of these things, you know what? We have the Genius Act today. Roughly around 3:30 p.m. is when this will be voted upon. This could be a huge thing. We've been talking about this for quite some time. Okay, and there are certain companies like Circle that are benefiting, you know, hugely because their stock is skyrocketing because it's all about stablecoins. So we will see what happens when this gets passed in the Senate. Most likely it will. I mean, there's always a chance it doesn't pass, but it seems like based on the last vote, today's vote will pass. And then afterwards, it goes into the House, right? So this is moving forward. So this is a big thing that we've been talking about for quite some time. Let's see what happens today. This is right after market opens. Market closes. So we don't have to wait that long. This is coming. And of course, outside of Circle, you have others that may benefit a lot, including one major alt that I'll get to at the end. Okay, so it's not just going to be for the likes of Circle or Tether, even though they're not US based, right? This is really a US thing. Although other countries like South Korea are also trying to pass their own version of the Genius Act, more friendly regulations around stablecoins and so forth, right? So this is going to be good. This is going to be good. What else is going to be good is, well, not for the dollar. If you're holding a lot of dollar, is not going to be good. But there are some people that think that the dollar is going to crash. You know, we talk a lot about the DXY, which is basically valuing the dollar against other buckets of, or another bucket of currencies. You know, this bond king, Jeffrey Gunlech, says that, hey, if we fall below a certain level for DXY, we're going to fall hugely, 25%. That's what he's looking at. And when the dollar falls that much, that fast, it ain't going to be good for anyone. Generally speaking, though, when the value of dollar crashes, it helps investments like Bitcoin. But that's usually because people are taking money out of the dollar and putting it in to investments like Bitcoin. But when the dollar's crashing, you know, that may be a different story. Although we could still see the same effect. If it's crashing and people are panic selling dollars, it's an interesting concept if you think about it. Whenever people panic, they always dump for dollars, right? If you're scared about the markets, you sell your stocks or options or futures or crypto or Bitcoin or whatever, gold even. You're selling to make dollars. But what if the dollar's crashing? What do you sell the dollar for? And that's really where you put dollars and you invest. You put it into something outside of dollars, right? And if you think about it that way, well, if the dollar is going to collapse, then you better save your wealth by putting it into something that won't crash, like Bitcoin. Which is why yesterday, again, we saw another huge inflow day. 433 million. So we're talking about, you know, 2 billion in the last week. 2 billion in inflow. This is something you can't take lightly. 2 billion here, there, everywhere. It's going to add up. In fact, I got something to show you guys at the end in case you don't believe me. In fact, I'll just show it right now. You know, while I was scrolling YouTube today, one of my old videos popped up. And I'm guessing it's because people are fearful about our little move downwards. Look at this title. Why Bitcoin dumped below $60,000. Okay. This was roughly a year ago, right before, well, actually right on July 4th, which is coming up in a couple weeks. Right? And in the comments, very negative. People are like, why are you talking about Bitcoin? Why are you talking about holding? Why are you talking about DCAing? Where are we at right now? 105. Where were we before? Below 60,000. Right? I mean, this is the thing. All this buying, all this accumulation, it adds up. Bitcoin is moving. You just got to expand your timeline. That's just how it is. This was just a year ago. When we were below 60, we were in the 50s. We have done 100% since last year. So there's no time to be panicking. We still have many, many, many months left of this year, of this bull run. And that's why we have a lot of predictions, right? We have a lot of billionaires, macro guys, entrepreneurs, investors. They're making a lot of predictions, but educated, I would say, predictions based on facts, based on what they're seeing, right? For example, Mike Novogratz thinks that Bitcoin could hit 1 million eventually, not because, well, not this cycle, but eventually. Why is it happening? Well, his explanation is just look at the young people. He made a really good analogy, which is, okay, you look at Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. They came from past generations, obviously, when Bitcoin didn't survive, wasn't around, tech wasn't really around, but they made their billions, but they continue. Well, Charlie Munger's no longer with us, rest in peace. But Warren Buffett, like his generation probably will never accept Bitcoin, but his kids, his grandkids, they're going to accept it. So the young people will accept Bitcoin. It's really that simple. They're going to grow up with it. They're going to grow up with crypto. It's the new currency for them. That in itself is reason enough. Once the old generation passes away, the new generation, what are they embracing? The digital currencies, digital assets. It's really that simple. Here's another guy that says energy markets, right, could also cause Bitcoin to go up. Just like with gold, it will happen with Bitcoin as well. See, these are reasons why people are speculating Bitcoin will go a lot higher. There are reasons. People aren't just throwing it out there for no apparent reason. There are a lot of reasons that's happening. And of course, the major one, which is something that I've been pointing out for a long, long time, is just look at the growing adoption. You got all these companies that are buying Bitcoin now. Okay, even in previous cycles didn't happen. Now you have new companies and existing companies buying millions or hundreds of millions or billions every single week. Blockchain Group raises 7.7 million. That's actually a small buy versus a lot of other groups. Here's one H100 that receives 145 Bitcoin in a loan deal. So you got these big purchases. MetaPlanet and MicroStrategy both purchased 10,000 Bitcoins each just a few days ago. It's not going to stop. And countries, even like Brazil now, is considering having a Bitcoin reserve. So it's gotta pay attention to what's happening. Miners are also accumulating, and the hash rate continues to go up, which is good because Bitcoin becomes more secure, more decentralized, more unstoppable, really. Bitcoin is the ultimate network, the one network that has never gone down and can't be hacked and only gets stronger as time moves forward. I mean, there's no other network like that out there. All right, so last few things. As for Bitcoin's current movement, a lot of people are comparing it to gold, even though gold's timeline is much longer. But still, if you're looking at it, kind of looks like gold, a little bit different since the 70K-ish, okay? But that's okay. We're moving at a much faster rate, so things can happen. And obviously, we have a lot of macro stuff that is causing a little disruption. Obviously, the tariffs brought things down a little bit. Now the war, a little bit. But we certainly are holding very well and still waiting for that next leg like this, we had just a bullish retest according to this trader, and that's very good. That's very normal. And we're on our way to 144,000 next. But here's the thing. This cycle, people don't realize, has been very, very gradual, but that's also very good. So as we slowly move up this cycle, as you can see on the right side there, okay, and as projected, it's going to keep going, and we're probably going to end up somewhere around 200,000-ish, right? But that's, look at how tame that climb is, how gradual it is versus previous cycles. Now, some argue, well, we want the parabolic, the banana zone like cycle 2 or cycle 3, but man, it was so much more volatile back then. That drop from 64,000 to 28,000, I don't know how people will react to that now. That's more than a 50% drop within a month, and then we start recovering. And even during that recovery, we also had a couple of huge dips, like a 20% dip. That would be the equivalent of us going down to $50,000 and then climbing back up and making a new high. You know, like, I don't know if people could survive that again. That was not a good time in 2021, right? But, you know, that's what we had to go through. And same thing as previous cycle in 2017. Yeah, even though we went up astronomically, we had so many 30 and 40% dips all the time. People are not used to that anymore. We're used to, yeah, maybe a few percentage points, 5%, 10%, you know, something like that, but certainly not a 40% dip or even a 30% dip, let alone a 50% dip that we saw in 2021, right? So we have it good now. We have it good. It's slow and steady climb towards the top. This shows maturity. This is also the reason this is happening, because the institutions, the ETFs, they are accumulating billions every single week. And this is why things are so steady. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Now, someone else that could benefit from the Genius Act greatly is XRP. Ripple. Why? Because they have their own stablecoin. And that stablecoin is actually being embraced by Cardano too. Charles Hoskinson recently said that they're going to go all out and support XRP and their real USD. So there could be something there. Ripple's new baby is their RLUSD, their real USD, and they want to push as much as possible. They are an American-based project, American-based company. So the Genius bill will definitely help Ripple, you know, push that or get it adopted after it's passed. But right now, there seems to be an abnormal 800% explosion in millionaires' usage of the network. I don't know what they're doing, but there does seem like there's a whole bunch of new addresses that are very active belonging to millionaires. Unusual, but this could be something. Something's brewing, maybe because of the Genius bill, or maybe because we're going to get XRP spot ETFs in Canada, which, you know, we already got Sol ones. So does that mean we're going to get ETFs here for XRP and Sol in the US soon? Maybe. Actually, it's not maybe. It's going to happen. I just don't know when. Both of these crypto will get their own spot ETFs. And then lastly, I saw this. I don't know how many of you guys have minted or tried to buy a meme, or you try to mint your own meme or create your own meme or whatever, but X Suspense Pump.fun, their page and their founder's page, and there's some speculation that regulators are looking at them. I don't know much else besides this, but just thought I'd bring it up. All right, that's pretty much it. Let's see. U.S. market. A little red, not that red, a little red. And you can see here, Circle is still going crazy because of the Genius bill. You know, it makes you want to FOMO in to Circle right now because of how much they are moving. But you know what? I'm just so afraid. Look at this 1 month performance. Since their IPO till now, they went from $31 to $161. I'm just afraid this is not going to lead to good things. You know, they are just going nuts. But outside that, MicroStrategy down a little bit, Coinbase down a little bit, and then Hood down a little bit. But you know what? They have been, especially Robinhood, has been absolutely on fire. And crypto overall, let's see, down slightly today. Although XRP is still in the green, ETH is still in the green. Well, this isn't in 1 hour. No, never mind. That's 1 hour. Let me remove that. This always resets on me. So slight red today. All right. Let's do some Q&A. Got a couple of big super chats here. Rad's Law. Interesting name. Jordan, explain this to beginner, please. Coinbase shutting down Web3 wallet. Is this a wallet same as the Coinbase app wallet? I'm using it. No, it's not the same. This has been explained before. Web3 wallet is not the same as their app wallet, so you're fine. Even if they shut it down, as long as you have the recovery key, you can recover somewhere else. That's the thing that most people do not understand with crypto wallets. You could buy the fanciest ledger, you could buy the fanciest treasure, you can buy a Tangent wallet, you could buy an Arculus wallet, you can use a Coinbase wallet, you could use a Trust wallet, you could use MetaMask, Phantom, whatever. None of them really matters. The only thing that matters is the recovery phrase, and you can restore your crypto on any other wallet that you like. The only thing that matters is if you have your crypto stuck on an exchange and not a wallet, and they shut down or freeze your account, then you have no access to it. But for any other wallet, it does not matter. You could always restore it somewhere else. The wallet is just, I don't know, just consider it as, what do you call it? Like a doorway to your crypto, which is stored on the blockchains. That's really it. The recovery phrase is just a key to access your crypto. And as long as you have that, you can use any wallet to do so, basically. So that's number one. Number two, Super Google Lee, another super chat. Did I get the Urus? No, I never said I was. Still enjoying my 458, but thinking about getting a modern one. I'm still enjoying my F8, but no. I never said I was gonna get a Urus, but I did get an LC500 convertible, which I've been driving every day since then, and it's really good. R. Lesgiz, another super chat. What happened to no capital gains tax on American crypto? I haven't heard anything about this lately. I don't know. I haven't heard about it either. It was always a thing where it was far-fetched. I don't think anyone believes that's going to happen anytime soon. What's your take on Tron going public? Man, it's a weird thing. They're doing a reverse merger with some public trade company, but it's like an entertainment company or something. You know, Justin Sun is just trying to do what he can to get in front of the American public or get in front of Trump or whatever. I mean, it's just a weird situation. Yeah, I really don't know. I don't know how it's going to work. Clifton, I have no idea what you're saying there. Scott Price, I feel like cold storage isn't cold storage since the crypto never leaves the blockchain. All you're doing is securely storing your key. Yeah, that's what it is. All wallets, doesn't matter if it's hot or cold, basically it's just a key. Key to your crypto, which lives on the blockchain. It's not living in a wallet. People have this misconception that, yeah, it lives in a wallet somewhere. It doesn't live in a wallet. The wallet is just the access. It's a doorway. It's a key to your crypto. So that's why you can use it anywhere. You could use it on any wallet. So if you ever like run into problems or anything, you can always restore it. But the key is, yes, the key is that recovery phrase. You can't lose that. That's the most important thing. If you put it on a network drive, you put it on a cloud storage, you write it down and you leave it on your desk and people take it or hack you, doesn't matter how secure your wallet is, it's gone. Austin, it's not even close. A Cybertruck is 1,000 times more comfortable than a G-Wagon. That is why I got rid of it. After you drive the Cybertruck, you do not want to drive the G-Wagon. G-Wagon never drove that well to begin with. It just looks amazing and is a status symbol, but it didn't drive that well in the first place. And the Cybertruck is 1,000 times more comfortable to drive. G Money, what do you futures trade on? BitUnix. I have almost everything on BitUnix that I'm trading. And G-Wagons are great for tax write-offs. But anything over 6,000 pounds is great for a tax write-off. Do I update my wallets? I always worry doing it in case I was back to don't do it. You don't have to upgrade them. I mean, like, if it's a phone, like Trust Wallet or something, I tried not to do it, and then eventually forced you to do it. But I try not to do it. But for like cold wallets, just don't. You don't need to. Love bug. Bit over Coinbase. Why? I don't even know what you're asking there. Evan says a lot of us don't have tons of money, so we're relying on altcoin season. So far, the alts have been performing terribly. Bitcoin has been great, but ETH and alts, do you see a push? Well, I mean, that's stating obvious. So many people want alts to go up, but that's just not how it is this cycle. I mentioned this many times. We may see a push with a few selective ones at the end of this year. But yeah, right now, it's because of retail. It's pretty obvious. You could even see it in the live chat. Retail does not have diamond hands this cycle. Retail keeps selling off. Whenever there's some kind of dip, retail just completely unloads. The reason why Bitcoin is so strong and not going down just like alts, because institutions do not have weak hands. They have diamond hands and they keep on buying. If all of retail did that and kept buying ETH or SOL or SUI or XRP, we would not see the same kind of falls. But retail, anytime there's a little kind of weakness or scary macro news, they sell off. And it's just, it's unfortunate. But it also goes to show that how strong Bitcoin is. A lot of Bitcoin maxis for a long time have said, you know what, everything else is distraction. Just stick with Bitcoin. And this cycle, they have been right for sure. But that may still change at the end of this year. Alex, I'm no longer matchmaking for IFC. My time has ended, so I'm good with that. So yeah, I'm not going to be matchmaking or running an IFC any longer. I have to concentrate on my own brand and my own business and content, and I'm pushing forward with a lot of stuff, so I just don't have time for that anymore. Any developments on CRU watches? Can we pre-order limited edition? It's still being worked on. Coin Vigilante, he's coming up with a few design. The limited edition one will be really awesome. It's going to be gold. The band is going to be gold. The face is going to be green. It's going to be very limited. And then everything else, the other ones will be like black band or silver band with different color faces. But the limited one will be very limited. And that's it. Limited run. Oh, we got new data. Home builder sentiment nears pandemic low as the economic uncertainty plagues consumers. Yeah. Basically, people are saving right now. They don't want to buy. And that's a smart thing. When there's uncertainty, you got to prepare for the worst, right? But today's market is kind of recovering. Dow is getting less red. We'll see what happens. Today, the big thing is this vote. This is not going to happen until after markets. So we got to wait a little bit. But it could be a big thing. It could be a big catalyst to drive things forward. Let's see. Well, right now, obviously, the war is dragging things on, right? Like dragging things down, I should say, not on. I kind of said that, you know, on Sunday. Even before it was pretty obvious, but now it's more apparent. I mean, this war is going to be ongoing for quite some time. Don't know if there is going to be a deal or a ceasefire, because it does seem like we're beyond that now. And it's going to keep on dragging on, you know, dragging markets down. So I guess we'll just have to see what happens. Do you think Cold Card will be the only wallet that survives? No. No. I mean, look at how steady this cycle has been. From our bottom of 2022, when we hit 15,000, till now, slow and steady. Slow and steady. That's just how it's going to keep going. Slow and steady. And the way we're going now, we get hit 200, 250. I don't think anyone's going to be complaining. Although there are some predictions that are much higher, but the way we're going, slow and steady, probably between 200 and 250,000. That's the cycle top. But are we going to come down 80% after that? That's the other thing too. Are we going to come down the same way we did in previous cycles? Well, looking at how we're moving now, we're not having that banana zone, right? We're not like going like this and then coming down. We're slow and steady. So I really think, you know, after the top, we just keep on going. It's just going to be a slow and steady like this forever. Yeah, we may have consolidation periods. We may have some slight dips, 15%, something like that, 20%. But I feel like we're just going to like gradually keep going higher and higher and higher, even after this cycle, moving into the next halving and beyond. I actually feel like that's what's going to happen with Bitcoin. All right, guys, I'll let you guys go. Overall, stay strong, my friends. We may be down slightly today, but we're definitely not down and out. Still a great time to be accumulating. Don't miss this opportunity while we are down to take advantage, because so many good things are still happening. So don't lose sight of that. Smash it a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one. Take care.